When we first started out, you would have thought you were in Oregon. There were oak and pine and rhododendrons, although obviously not in bloom. And it just looked like Oregon. And we were almost the entire trek, we were along rivers. And for the first 2 days on the trek, there was a lot of big stones that you were walking along. And fortunately for us, we were really, really lucky that we were not doing this in the rainy season. What we have heard is that if you do this particular trek, Cholomar trek in the rainy season, it's very muddy, and there are leeches. And I've seen leeches in Nepal, and I would be very happy if I never see another one. So we had 2 days in that area, and then on the third day we were moving out of the trees out into the above tree line, and that's when we began to see the yaks. And one of the things that we got to do was we had lunch inside a woman's home, and that was just really, really such a treat and so special. What we had is we had the 10 of us, and then we had 21 animals, and it was kind of a combination of horses and mules and donkeys, or maybe just donkeys and horses. And then there were 8 support people. There was Tenzing, and then there were 4 wranglers who were dealing with the horses, and then there was a cook, and then 2 people who were helping with the cook. And we essentially had small day packs, and everything else went on the horses' backs. And typically they would have huge bamboo baskets, and then things would be crammed into these bamboo baskets, and there would be, one basket on one side and one basket on the other. And they would have a lead horse who would have this incredibly beautiful red sash headband thing, and then big heavy bells, and then the other animals would pay attention to the one that was supposed to be in front. First day when we were in Paro, we went to the Tiger's Nest, and that really, John Leary, is just a wonderful, wonderful person. He and his wife Sharon were on the trip, and he, after we finished the Tiger's Nest, he said, well, I could go back to Portland today and that would be just fine. I've gotten everything I wanted out of the trip. It's just this absolutely spectacular place that is, you hike about, maybe 2,500 feet or 3,000 feet to get up there. And it's just on the edge of a cliff. Literally, they have created this monastery on the edge of a cliff, and it's been there since the 7th century. But one of the things that is just so astonishing is the prayer wheels and prayer flags and the chorten, absolutely everywhere. One of the things that I wish I had done to prepare was to read more about Buddhism. That I think Bhutan is the most spiritual place I've ever been in my life. They really practice their faith, and the whole business about the monarchy and gross national happiness and the way people treat other people. One of the things that people talk about is the fact that there are so many stray dogs, and you're probably thinking, oh, stray dogs, that must be really awful, and they must look horrible, and they must not be cared for. But there's stray dogs everywhere, and they look, like they belong to somebody, because they're obviously they're getting food somehow, and they look great. There just seemed, I think it's the whole Buddhist mindfulness that and civility, and people just really pay attention and smiling all the time, really engaging with people and smiling at people. It is a magical place, and you just kind of feel as though you are tremendously lucky to be there, and you hope that your concerns and bad thoughts about what's going to happen are wrong. That I think they're doing everything they can to make it, not have bad consequences. But it's unintended consequences. It's very hard not to have things happen. Tiger's Nest was wonderful, but what we were doing is we were on the Chomahari Trek, and there is this place, and I'm looking at my notes here, it's Jangothana, and from there you are at the base of the peak, Chomahari. And one of the things that I had not known is Bhutan considers their mountains to be sacred, and they will not allow anybody to climb them, which I think is wonderful. I'm sure, climbers are very frustrated by that, but too bad. I think one of the things that I really enjoyed the most was having my daughter come to a family Thanksgiving gathering, and we've done a lot of traveling together. And she said, "This is the best trip I've ever had," and that really, really meant a lot to me. I think it's an extraordinary country. I seriously am considering going back. If and when I go back, I would want to go back during religious festivals. And I just wish the people well.